and I see MB Exports. Thank you so much. Welcome to our today's talk show, everyone. And I am very happy and surprised to see you dot on time, so punctual. Just confirm once if you're able to see us clearly and hear me as well, so that we can start this live session today. Yes. All right, I get a yes from this person. Thank you so much. All right, amazing. So now that it's a festive evening, along with that, we have expert talk today. I think it's going to be a blockbuster fusion together. Amazing. So as you know that every Sunday we try to come live with one of our expert tutors from English Yari family on the Ultimate English Yari Talk Show, where we talk about English in English, so that in case you have any doubt, any questions, you can ask and hear right from the expert. No filters attached, directly the thought process the experts have. So I'm again saying it to all of you that if you haven't subscribed to our channel, kindly consider subscribing. I see a lot of you saying, yes, ma'am, you can start. Okay, thank you so much, Kiran. So today's live session is not about me, it's about you and your tutor, Tutor Madhav Anand. Good evening, Tutor Madhav.
Thank you so much, Shruti, and what a wonderful evening, right on the eve of Tees. And happy Tees to everyone who is celebrating and have joined us from different parts of the country. Good evening, everyone.
Absolutely. Firstly, I would like to extend heartfelt gratitude towards you. The moment we asked you for a live session, you were just there. So I'm sure all our learners are going to get benefited through this conversation.
The pleasure is all mine, the honor is all mine, anytime. Right? Anyways, it wasn't a very eventful Sunday, so why not make it a little more eventful?
And I think it's you're going to smile a bit now because I get a comment from Nikhil Jindal saying, I just take classes from Madhavanand sir. Hello, sir. How are you?
Thank
So
you,
we got
Nikhil.
your
Thank you so
learners.
much for being here today. Thank you so much. And welcome,
Yes.
welcome to the show, if we can call it a show.
Yes. Before I start the discussion, because I'm going to ask a lot of questions to you, Mr. Madhav, and some of the questions I have for you, and some questions asked by our learners, we'll try to have a chit chat on that.
Sure.
Before that,
Sure.
all of you, I want you to tell in the comment section from which part of the city, state, or country you're joining us from, so that we also get to see who all are there to learn. Okay, I get a message. This person says, I'm from Dubai. All right, MD Zakir, thank you so much. We are internationally popular nowadays.
Yes, we indeed have a lot of learners who connect from different parts of the world, and Dubai and UAE, and particularly has a lot of them. Yes.
Indeed. All right. Meanwhile, you all can put your questions in the conversation. I see people writing, Kiran saying Karnataka, Bengal. Okay. I I see Karnataka, Bangalore, and then one more person. Okay, the chat is scrolling to a higher rate. Okay, let's get back to the conversation now. Mr. Madhav, I would like to ask you, this conversation is going to be about you, your expertise, what you bring on table. I
Right.
don't think we should introduce you, because if by any chance somebody types it on Google or on YouTube, Tutor Madhav Anand can find more than 200 plus sessions that you have taken with our learners, surely. But
Right.
if somebody has joined us for the first time, why don't you give a quick introduction to your learners?
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, Shruti. So I'll keep it crisp because it's really, of course, about me, but I wish I could give as much value to our learners over here. So yes, as you can know, as you can see, that definitely a tutor with English Shari. I build courses. I've done it for other entities, private universities. I have expertise in business communication, which we also call workplace communication. Public speaking has something been with me for as long as I've existed, right? So I would put it that way. And yes, I'm a full time communication consultant, if I could call myself that way. And the journey with English Shari and some other platforms has been amazing. It's been a learning and absolutely a humbling journey for me because I've learned a lot. I definitely started as a tutor, as expert, but in the process, the amount of education that I have had from everyone in the ecosystem, from the system, the team of English and definitely the learners. So that's a crisp introduction about me.
Thank you so much. Uh, I asked, it's better you hear from somebody who's already doing so many things. I'm sure if I would have introduced you, I must have missed one or two pointers. You have so much on your plate.
Right.
So when I was
I agree
doing
with
a
that.
bit of when I was doing a bit of my research about you, I could see that you have spent good years in MNCs, working with great organizations and at managerial position. I want to
Yeah.
know from you how this transition from corporate world to a corporate communication trainer, how did that happen?
Right. So I wasn't directly a corporate employee. I worked in the nonprofit who worked with the corporates. So if I'm working in the nonprofit, which is taking the CSR money, the social responsibility money, and putting into the nonprofit sector. So I used to be that the guy who would manage the money, who would manage the Excel sheets, who would manage the projects, who would entertain the corporate clients. So I was in the middle, right? I mean, my role as a manager, as a person in funds, used to be that. And all of us, make career choices. I made a career choice as masters in social work, right? And it turned out to be a great opportunity to go out in field, speak to people, travel through villages, talk to great, people in the corporate world. It was a wonderful experience, but it never gave me the satisfaction of doing what I'm doing right now. I never saw myself as someone who would juggle through Excel sheets day in and day out. That's what I did for a good 7, 8 years of life. I don't mean to complain because that has really given me a lot of insight on humans' psychology, on how people accept knowledge and all of that. So, yes, that has been a learning experience. But at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying your work, you cannot continue that for a very long time. Although 7, 8 years, I would say, is a long time already that I spent. When one fine day I had to take a decision that I cannot be here forever. I cannot keep on juggling Excel sheets and trying to do things which aren't giving me a soul satisfaction. So when I jumped out of it, I didn't really have a clue what I'm going to do. I did some content writing work for a year or so, and then I jumped into another platform where they provided me an opportunity to be an instructor for English communication, business communication, and then one thing led to another. And then the private university happened where I built courses for them. Then English Shari happened. I mean, most fortunately. And now I'm able to do things on my own as well. I mean, I'm juggling two, three things all together. It isn't easy, I would say, but it has been such a journey worth relishing, as well as giving away things which I have with myself. So yeah, that's it. That's about it.
Great. The reason I asked you this question was simple. They should know which background you come from and
Yes.
how you transformed yourself into a communication coach. Because then there's always a context to go by. Whenever I'll ask a question to you, they will have a backstory about you that they can
Yeah.
surely go with. Right.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
even on the profile, if they've seen that you are a public speaking expert, you've helped people improve their
Right.
public speaking. Whenever
Right.
we think about people who are able to speak in public, there is one notion that these people are extroverts. If I'm able to
True.
speak, a lot of my learners I still remember used to say, "Ma'am, you're extrovert, right?" Deep inside, they didn't know I was ambivert. I was juggling between the both. What do you think? Is it right that people who are extrovert are the great public speaking people? They're able to communicate on podium. What exactly the thing is? Because people then think I'm an introvert. I can never speak in front of public.
To an extent, I would say that an extroverted person or an extrovert is slightly capable right in the beginning as a default setting, correct? But that does not mean that it is reserved for them. Of course, if you have an athletic gene, right, the DNA is athletic, you will definitely be a quick adapter in the field of athletics. But that doesn't mean that it is reserved for them. Not at all. It's like saying that I come from a Marwadi family or a Sindhi family, so only I have the right to do business. No, it's not like that. You may have it in your genes. You may have a little bit of edge. So with when it comes to the idea of a extroverted person, they have it easy in the beginning, but that is just a little bit, a wee little bit. Real public speaking comes from a desire to become a public speaker. Now, who is a public speaker? If we come down to that, anyone who speaks in front of us group, right? And you're
True.
owning that stage for a while, even if it's just a small group of people in a small room. It's not like a huge stage. You're not Modi ji standing in front of lakhs of people, right? And you're still addressing, you're delivering something, and you're able to hook the attention of the audience. Even if it's just five people, seven people, you are a public speaker over there. Now, coming to the second question which you had, that is it necessary to be an extrovert? No. Can introverts become a public speakers? Definitely yes. There's proper research to tell us that when it comes to the idea of a good speaker, people who are more innately capable, who have a grounding and poise in their characters, in their nature, connect with the audience better, because extroverts are high energy. They're good to anchor a wedding party. They're good to start a music show. They're good to hook people in the beginning. But when it comes to really making a story relatable, when it comes to making a story touch your heart, it is the poise, the silence, and the groundedness of an introverted person which is way more relatable than the high energy performance of an extrovert. So extroverts do have an edge and in certain areas, but that is again a learnable skill. I mean, just because you are a little more poised, a little more silent, doesn't mean you cannot be enthusiastic. Doesn't mean you cannot be energetic. Yep. So that goes both ways. If you're an introvert, you also have a superpower of being more relatable, of being more, being more connecting with the audience than extroverts. So both the skills
True.
are learnable. There's nothing reserved for anyone.
I'm sure they are going to remember this through this idea of Mawadi example. I just love it. It's simple. If you're extrovert, it's fine, but doesn't mean you'll not be able to speak. You have fair share of opportunities if you want to grab. Let's talk about you. What were you back in your school or college days, or when you started teaching? Were you introvert, extrovert, or ambivert?
Right. I would say I definitely was a very introverted child as a child, but I
Okay.
did have a desire to be seen. It's like a beggar. A beggar knows that he doesn't have the money, but a beggar does really have a lot of wish to have a lot of money. So I was that, that child who was not an extrovert, who was afraid of extroverts, but wanted to become like them. That desire to be in the limelight as a young kid was always there. So back in school days, pre-teen age, I wasn't someone who had a lot of courage, but I did ensure that I start doing it. And interestingly, if you show interest in something, if you try to build yourself up, you will come across so many opportunities. For example, if you're in school, you do have a debate competition at least once a year. If you're in college, you do get these inter college and cross college competitions. So every time I had an opportunity, I started participating. And to my own surprise, I did well. I did good. And that's when I realized I don't have to be the most extroverted boy in the class to be able to grab the attention with whatever knowledge I have. If I put it in a structured manner, and the jury anyway doesn't give you more than 3 to 4 minutes, it's good enough to get a
Yes.
third prize at least. So you started with the third, and then you move on to win the Chancellor's Cup or whatever you have. It's quite possible, and it did happen with me. So I wasn't extroverted at all, but grabbing opportunities gave me the confidence to be on the largest of stages. Right? I remember
Amazing.
I was in I was a postgraduate student back in Sambalpur University, and the famous spiritual guru Sri Ravi Shankar was there in Sambalpur, and he was conducting his Mahasabha, sort of an assembly. And the assemblage was more than easily at any given point of time. Of course, the entire, if you look at the number of people who came and went, crossed more than 60, 70,000, but at any given point of time, more than 30,000 were there. And I was anchoring that stage, right? I was the anchor on that stage. So it didn't happen overnight, right? I was the same frightened kid in the class who was afraid and he was shivering and trembling, who went on to take opportunities and didn't give up easily and went on to that stage as well. So it's not, something I'm boasting. I'm saying this is the journey, and all of us are capable of being in that journey, provided we are taking that, having that grit in ourselves. That's important.
Yeah, I think somebody has asked a similar question. It's Kiran who says that, good evening, sir. I'm an extrovert in my mind. I want to be in real as well, but hesitation is making me introvert. What would you
Yes,
say to Kiran?
yes. Um, the person is Kiran, yes? Right.
Yes.
Kiran. Kiran, we are not what we identify as. That can be something that we are born with, but we have the ability to take on more roles. So, hesitation is just a role that you're playing. If you think this is who I am, then that is what you will become. I'm sorry, I do not want to make it a motivational session. It is not. But communication is so much connected to our personality, self-image, our own consciousness, how we believe or feel about ourselves. So we definitely have to work on that. So if you think you're hesitant, identify where this hesitation is coming from. Am I afraid of getting judged? Has someone in the past laughed at me? Has something happened that stays in my subconscious mind that, okay, this happened, this may happen again, better avoid it? Make a list of those two, three, four, five things and then scratch them off. Scratch them off like, why is that I want to become a speaker? Why do I want to become a public speaker? Is there something in it for me? If there is, then how do these trivial things really matter? Do they really matter? They don't. If I have a greater dream, smaller things shouldn't be stopping me. And if smaller things are stopping me, probably my dream isn't big enough, right? That's one thing you must take care of initially. And then there's all sorts of platforms available, right? You can get a lot of knowledge from YouTube. You can come to English Shari and get yourself educated. There's so many resources available today. But first, need to work on your mind, then get started with the skills.
Yeah. Jagdish had a similar question. He says, I am an introvert and how to become an extrovert. So, as Mr. Madhav just answered, it's a journey. Focus on the process. You'll surely be near to your destination. This reminded me of my content creation journey. So, I never thought I would be creating content for English Shari. And it
Yeah.
just happened. We thought, okay, we should have online presence. I cannot teach learners every time, but I can surely share my knowledge in bits and pieces every time I get the opportunity. When
Hmm.
I see my first or second video that I created, I literally can't watch it completely because it fills me with guilt that, Shruti, was it you? Did you speak this way in the session or did you present it? Because once on social media, always on social media, right?
Yeah.
And I can't see it. So one fine day, I was told my friend, look at you 2 years ago and this is you. And one POV was, oh god, how could I be so bad? Second was, look at your performance now. Now
Hmm.
it's way better. I can't say I'm a perfectionist, but it's way better. I
Right.
have better sense of understanding of frames or content, one should definitely say. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you could walk me through your journey, the past version of yours versus current version of yours.
Yes, first of all, thanks for sharing that because not everyone is comfortable talking about the false. Right? We only want to highlight an Instagram life where everything is beautiful. Yes, right. We don't
Yes.
want to show our gray beard. We just want to show the black hair. Right? It's that way. Now the point is that
Relatable.
yes. Now the point is if I take inspiration from your story, I would say that initially I too was hesitant, and hesitation won't go away just like that. And the self judgment that we now the world isn't really judging us so much. Maybe there are a couple of people in our lives where we share a not so good relationship with them. They may come up with some negative comments, but then apart from that, we are not the Modijis of the world, correct? No one really cares about us so much. So we don't have to pedestalize ourselves so high that, oh, what is the world thinking about me? No. The world isn't really that much bothered about me or you as common people. The hand counted number of few people, if they have a judgment, they're anyway not your well wishers, right? So whether you do good or do bad, how does it even matter what they are thinking about me or us? Now coming to the journey of how the earlier version of me was. I would say the earlier version was a little more aggressive in the kind of defenses I would put up if there was a negative comment. When it comes to the idea of creation of content or being out on the internet, because the internet is a very cruel world, right? There's no
True.
consideration. It's a judgmental, punishing world where people are just way too harsh on you. Now the thing is that um, you cannot let it become your identity. You have to use it as, wow, I'm getting an engagement. Most of it comes from envy. And if it's coming from envy or jealousy, then you are above them. Identify that. No one is envious of someone who is below you, who is poorer to you, who is uglier to you. You're only envious of people who are better than you, right? Whether you like them
Yes.
or whether you don't like them, they are definitely doing better than you. So that sort of became a help for me. So when there would be debates on things I posted, maybe 10 years back when I used to write so much on Facebook, I had a good following. I used to get a lot of shares. That started with that small note where I realized that, okay, if I have an opinion, people are engaging with it. There will be people against it, in favor of it, but then there is an engagement happening. Means there is something value that I'm adding to it. That small validation did help. That was the earlier version, was very defensive about things that I did. Now I'm a little more sober. I don't care too much, but I keep on adding whatever I have to add. So did I answer the question, or did I drift? Please let me know.
No, you gave me a beautiful idea about your past, how you
Okay.
were, or a lot of people do think that if I speak or I voice my opinions, there's a lot of people who are going to maybe envy me or may not appreciate what I bring on table. So it happens. So you
Right.
were just explaining me about that. Now let's
Yes.
talk about your current version. You said you're more sober. How to
Yeah.
be sober if I could be as raw as possible?
Okay. All right. There is an answer which may not be relatable, but then I'll just say it anyways. When you keep on doing something, gradually it takes away the unnecessary thoughts in your mind, the judgments that you have, because you mature in the process. It's like initially when you are going to a school or a college as a young boy or a girl, there are a lot of things on your mind. What am I wearing? Is someone looking at me? Is someone not looking at me? But then after 6 months, after a semester is over, you don't care much. That is maturing in the process. So I would put the same in my profession also, because I used to be very concerned about what did the learner think about me after the class was over, right? That does not mean that I'm not bothered about it now. Now I have more like a concern which is about their upliftment, not more than what they are thinking about me, but did they receive the kind of value that they should be receiving from my end. So it's more like a concern and less like a fear, right? Previously it was to be fear, that did I do a good job, was I looking good, was my voice audible, did I deliver the value that I was supposed to. So that has shifted more towards them and less towards me.
I
Previously, I
learned a
was more
centric
focused on
approach.
myself, right? Did I do a good job? Was my image good? Were they able to perceive me as a potent or a talented tutor? Were they judging me? So I was the center of my attention. Now they are the center of the attention. I don't care too much about myself now. But I care a lot about if at the end of those 30 minutes, 1 hour, the session that I took, did the person get value or not? Right? Did my fever bother them? Did my bad voice bother them? Right? That's how the maturing happens, when you move away from yourself towards the other person. At least as a teacher-student relationship, in a teacher-student relationship.
Indeed, I think I should definitely give a shout out to BK Sengar. He has just messaged that, hi Shruti ma'am and Madhav sir, I'm going to cross around 300 sessions on English Sharing app. My
Wow.
goodness, what a
Wonderful.
journey.
Right? So
Yes.
many people who are so loyal to their own journeys. I mean, we do appreciate their loyalty to the platform, but what is even more important is that they're loyal to their own journey. That no matter how much time it takes, I'm going to be here. And that's what I often tell my learners, that do not come with a mentality that, okay, I need an overnight success. That does not happen. Yes.
Yes, of course. We don't have any magical potion. We give you tomorrow, you wake up with fluency,
Yes, true.
confidence, accuracy. Right. One thing I would like to ask you, since you mentioned that now it's more of, earlier you were thinking about your performance. How did I perform? Did I do justice to my profession or my job role? Versus now it's about learners more. Did the learner understand?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
will he get benefited out of it once he step out of the session? The same happens when you are in office meetings or presentations or even in interviews. We
True.
put spotlight on ourselves. Did I answer well? Did I make any mistake? Was the content right? Will they be able to understand if I share any viewpoint? Because of this, when you've put yourself on the spotlight, you're always in a phase of denial or in the phase of being nervous or self-doubt, where you're constantly juggling with your thoughts. Did it go
Yes.
well? Did it not go well? So it's a complete mess. How
Yeah.
a person can change this approach from focusing more on themselves towards
Yeah.
the audience? At
Yeah.
office, it can be the manager or the people sitting on the panel. For interview, it
Yes.
can be more towards HR. Am I able to understand the HR? I'm sure
Mm.
through my question, will the HR be satisfied or not? How can we change this approach? Because it is really important in communication.
Mm.
It's not
Yes.
about
Yes.
your content, it's about the conversation you're putting across. So, how
Yes.
do we
Agreed.
master this?
There are two aspects to this answer. One is that if I'm a beginner and I'm scared, afraid, nervous, I have to allow myself to fail and not be bothered about being bogged down. A couple of failures in the kitty are like medals, wear them. Do not expect that right in the beginning. If you're an absolute hero of the gift of gab, no problem. Please go and perform at the best. But if you have nervousness, which is kind of most of us, if you have some amount of fear, and if you're failing in the beginning, let that be just another part of your story. It is neither the end of the story nor the title of the story. It is just the initial part of your story. That's the rags to riches story. It's the best thing that has happened to you. 5 years later, you'll be
Absolutely.
happy about the story. You will tell others that I was so nervous and this and that happened, and then I was able to do it. So I'm just talking about the first part. That if you're just starting out, this is the first time or just a couple of few times that you've started out and you're exploring yourself, it's okay to fail a couple of times. It's okay to fail. Don't take it too hard. Learn from each failure. What happened? Was I nervous? If I was nervous, was it because it was just getting bamboozled at looking at people, or was it because I was underprepared? That's the answer. If I was underprepared, let me go back and do my preparation. If I was just suddenly, dumbfounded by, looking at people, all right, let me do it a couple of times. Our body is programmed to take a lot of trauma, right? Even if it comes in the form of a shock, and an interview shock or a PPT presentation, our bodies are built in a way that they can take multiple shocks. Now, when we do it a couple of times, we create that, that muscle, that mental muscle to take it a couple of more times. That's when we build that energy and that preparedness for getting more and more confident. It doesn't happen overnight. You may have to take a lot of
Yes.
couple of jots. Now, coming to the other part, where you have done it a couple of times, you know that you are good at it or semi good at it, but then still you're struggling. That's when you need coaching. That's when you need mentoring, because you have come to a certain level and you've reached the stagnancy. Now, if you look at your life, maybe you're a married person, maybe you have kids at home, maybe you are way too caught up with your life and you're just living Saturday, Sunday to Saturday, Sunday, and those Saturday, Sundays are just lying down watching Netflix. Are you upgrading yourself? Are you taking help? Are you taking guidance and mentoring and coaching? If not, you're going to stay there for the next 20 years. And I'm not saying this to scare you. Everyone needs coaching help, no matter what that field is. Some people think that, oh, it's something wrong with me. No, it's just skills. Why is there anything wrong with you? When it comes to skills, in today's world, we have no excuses. Especially post-COVID world, we have no excuses. Everything is there online, whether it's a platform like English Shari or even if it's Chat GPT, it's going to give you some ideas, right? So get started. Don't give yourself this excuse that I don't know what to do. Get started. Give yourself the 6 month to 1 year time. Transform your life, especially when it comes to speaking or delivering. These are not rocket sciences. These are learnable skills. Everyone can learn.
I cannot agree more on this part. And the moment you mentioned about shock, that your body is literally powerful, more way powerful than you think about yourself. You always
Yes.
are not ready to understand the true potential of you. You'll not be there.
Yes.
See, the moment you expose yourself out, then you realize, okay, I had it in me. It's just that somebody had to tap in that particular segment. So
Yeah.
I remember a small anecdote. I was in grade 11,
Please.
and for the longest period of time I was the one who would hold the microphone on my in my hand and then speak.
Wonderful.
But it was the
Yes.
first time when the moment I saw the stage, it had a podium and I have to speak. So the moment I stood there, it was a new setting and I knew that, okay, I have to speak on it. The rest of the world, all the people in the room seminar hall could see my upper body, but there was a tutor who was standing next to me, could see my shaky legs as well. So
Yes.
everyone appreciated the moment I said, okay, thank you so much. I submitted my speech. But backstage, she asked me, why were you so nervous? What happened with you? So,
True.
yes, I was nervous. Every time we speak and we try to help somebody, there is some kind of nervousness. But
Hmm.
you never know, even in stressful condition, you can give your best shot. Right.
Sure. Right. Right.
This
And
brings
and
me to a question. Yeah, please, you were
yeah,
saying
please go
something.
ahead. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Here we have a learner. She says that, Ma'am Kiran says, Ma'am, I have my interview tomorrow, my first virtual interview. Please share some tips. What would be your last minute mantra?
All right, Kiran. Interviews are prepared, and we have to give at least a couple of days. But if you still need to go with a few tips, and if it's the first time you're being in a virtual interview, know that it is not gonna kill you. Correct? It will last for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever time, and you will be absolutely fine once it's over. Whether you get that job or not, that I cannot comment on, but you're going to be physically, mentally fine, right? So let that fear just be there. Don't fight your fear. I never ask you or anyone to fight your fears that you can win over that. And no, that motivation doesn't work. When your nervous system is feeling the pinch and the punch, you will go through fear. But just let it be there. Don't fight your fear. Number one. Number two, be well prepared. Right? If you have one more night before you actually go for the interview, give yourself 4 5 hours tonight, right? Prepare well. All the basic questions like why do you want to join us? What are the best qualities you have? Tell me something about your experiences. Introduce yourself. Tell me about yourself, right? What are your leadership qualities that you have? There are some basic questions which are sort of mandatory in all interviews. We may not be able to answer all the questions well, but if there are some sample templates available, why not write it down properly? Why not, if not mug up, at least read it a couple of times so that it stays in your subconscious mind. Being well prepared is the best bet when it comes to being confident. Second is do not fight your fear. Right? Third is smile a little more. It's okay. Even I have been accused of not smiling enough, and Shruti has told me a couple of times, "Why don't you smile a little more? Your learners want you to smile a little more." I've got that comment. I said, "Oh my God, there's something wrong with me here." But I've taken it up now. I think I've started smiling. I'm all smiley these days. Yeah, so you can do that as well. We can
I'm
fight.
complete opposite. Every night when I go to sleep, I can literally have some sensation, tingling sensation that, okay, the whole day I had a smile on my face.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you make life of others easy. Maybe I'm making it hard. All right, so that is it. I'm sure I was answering to Kiran. Am I right? Yes.
yes, exactly. You
Yes.
gave her some tips that,
Yeah.
okay, try
Those
to
three
focus
would
on
be.
this. Yes, I was reading it the other day, and it was beautiful, very, very simple, but something which motivated me. It said
Hmm,
that people connect with people, humans
yes.
connect with humans, and humans are meant to make mistakes. So when you are speaking, it's okay about the mistakes, but it's not okay about the connection. If your connection is weak, then no communication can fix it. So make
True.
focus on building communication, building connection, and the connection happens greatly when the choice of words is right.
Correct. True. Yes.
This brings me to the
Authenticity.
next question from, yeah, exactly, authenticity. Okay, you just read my mind. So I was about to ask you this thing. She asked
Please.
about interviews. a lot of learners come in the session, and when they speak, or the moment you, not just learners, a lot of people in general, when you're trying to have a communication with them, I see they have different perspective, everyone has different POV. But while they're speaking, they're not able to justify to their speech. Means if they've added to a point, they'll keep on adding more lines to just tell that, hey,
Same
my
point.
point
The
is
same
valid.
point. Hmm.
There's a lot of over explanation, and because of over explanation, I sometimes feel that they don't make sense. So
Yes, exactly. Yes. One
it
of the
goes
things,
off topic.
yeah, they go off topic, they drift. It will sound a little repetitive, but nevertheless, I'll say that again. That if you're not prepared well, you will make that mistake. Number one. So under preparation is not allowed. If you want to make a good impression, if you want to crack that job, you're not allowed to be under prepared. Number one. Number two, it is the nervousness which is playing loud in your mind. There's no other reason. If you're well prepared, there's no other reason you will forget things unless you are scared inside. So to reduce your fear, there are certain exercises. One is definitely a couple of 10-second long breath. It's called a 6 second exercise, 6 second pause, we call it in neurosciences. So if you take a 6 second pause, let's call it 10 seconds, and you are breathing well before entering, there's more inflow of oxygen into your blood, and that eventually lands up in your brain and reduces brain fog, so you don't stutter and stammer all these things. Second is there's another exercise where we stiffen up our body. I'm not able to recollect that name right now, I'm so sorry about it. But we can send it off to our learners and other people if we get an opportunity. So where we stiffen
Sure.
our body for a while and then we release it again. When again we stiffen our body, entire body for a while and then release it. This is permissible, doable only if you get around 2 to 3 minutes before you start your interview or whatever presentation you're making, right? So I'm not giving you a technical advice. I'm just trying to show you that ultimately it is the fear, the cortisol, releasing into your bloodstream, which is causing this fear, which is causing this brain fog. So reduce that one. Now coming to some technical advice. If you heard a question, don't jump to answering it. People or your
Very important.
interviewers will appreciate if you take 2 seconds. It is even more smart to ask for, like, may I take 5 seconds to answer your question. Frame your thoughts in your mind. It shows how confident you are, that you're able to seek the permission of the interviewer or the room for 5 seconds or 10 seconds. It's okay. Now, you may say that what if things go wrong? Things will definitely go wrong if you don't do that. If you do this, then the chances of going wrong are still less. And if you take some time, restructure your thoughts, maybe think back on things which you had done the night before. Your answering quality could be better. There's no guarantee, but could be better. But if you're stuttering, stammering, fumbling, it is going to be a disaster anyway. So why not avoid that? Take a moment's time, take a long deep breath, and then answer. Fourth is that if you have never done structuring framework exercises, spoken communication wise, then this is going to happen. That's again, I'm going back to coaching and mentoring again. A lot of my classes at any levels are dedicated to people speaking in their office setups. And when they are speaking in their office setup, if you don't have a structure in your mind, okay, um, am I answering the question directly or not? Am I able to say that in 10 seconds or not? Am I able to speak things which, am I able to break it down into 5 points or not? If there is this bulletized thinking method in your mind, then you will be able to deliver much more clarity. So first thing, am I able to introduce the problem in 5 seconds, yes or no? Am I able to break down the causes and effects in five bullet points, yes or no? Am I able to make the conclusion in 30 seconds, yes or no? If we do these, now I know that when I'm giving this gyan it's easy, but you have to do those practices also. When you do that practice, then it becomes a part of your muscle memory. Otherwise it will just be another LinkedIn advice that you just read and scroll by.
Yes, and I would like to tell everyone out there who is watching us currently, as you suggested, follow a structure. There has to be a structure when you answer. Your thoughts cannot be just haywire, or you're
Yeah.
giving us in a different preposition. The same happened in our last session, our first talk, English Diary talk show with tutor Renu. She explained how important it is to follow a structured approach. How you start,
Yes.
what's the main body, how do you conclude, and it's easier said than done. You will know the framework, you learn the jargons, but if you're not using it with the right person, you will not be able to have it in you, right? And that's when expert help come into picture. You can make sure that you have a tutor who's not just giving you gyan, but giving you the opportunity or the space to practice that with you.
Yes, exactly.
Else it's just tips, and YouTube, Instagram, or any platform is flooded with tips. So here we don't focus on tips or tricks,
At
we focus
all,
on
at
real
all.
practice.
Yes, right. Let me give you
You
an
won't
example.
find any tutor. Yeah,
Let me give you
please.
an example. Every time, let's say my session is about to end, and I normally ask them, is there anything you have, any question you have? So many times learners ask me, okay, I have an interview tomorrow, give me some tips, or give me some tips on how to improve my vocabulary. I said,
Oh,
do you have a class with me next time, or is it your last class? If it's your last class, I'll give you some tips. If you're going to come down next time, remind me right in the beginning of the class that I have this question, so that we actually do it in the class. For tips, you don't need me or English area at all. It's resources are all over the internet. We don't need more tips. We need more practice. We need more exercise. We need more, dedicated, working on the issue that we are facing. Tips, there are
yes.
plenty everywhere. We don't need more tips.
Exactly. One of the learners asked, I don't remember the name of the learner now, but he just asked, okay, can you tell me what will help me improve my English? The thing is, and he also asked why you started English Diary. The major intention behind this venture of ours was simple. We had our own journey, our struggles to learn this language, and communication is really essential. No
Yeah.
matter what, where you go, you can buy things, but you can't buy confidence by paying
Yes.
somebody. You have to work on it, you have to achieve it, and the right choice of words. It's about your personality, what people perceive you on the basis of the words you choose to express yourself. So we
True. Very
started with a major intention that on any platform there are multiple tips and tricks given. You will find grammar lessons, vocabulary lessons, as learners ask, oh, can you teach me vocabulary, pronunciation, or accent? Here we focus on practical learning. We don't give you tips. You won't find you the Madhav in the session saying, okay, go and start working on this, go start reading. We'll do everything in the session with you.
true.
Right, Mr.
Agree.
Nath? That's what we do. Please tell them, what do we do generally in sessions? Who better
Right.
than you can vouch for it?
Right, right. So definitely, if there's a lot of issues, let's say a learner is at a very basic level, just you're not even able to construct a proper sentence. Then I may tell them, okay, go back and do some basic translation exercises at home. Give yourself 10-20 minutes a day, so that when you come to the class, you have something to talk about. Right? Otherwise, the whole class will be about me translating and you speaking in Hindi or whatever comfortable language we have. Now,
True.
that would be for a certain group of learners, right? And I have absolute respect for that learner. I mean, that is the boldest learner I could have. Anyone who is better of that person is less bold. This person is the boldest person. He's able to show his or her vulnerability like no one else. And deepest regards for this learner. Second is that when it comes to other things that we do in the class in the session, one of the most interesting thing is right. It's kind of mandatory for me to even if I do it for 3 minutes that sentence construction exercises. Ultimately, our thoughts are what language, and language is what sentences. Right? Whether we speak in a long sentence, with a short sentence, unless we are good at short sentences, we will keep on making long sentences. Long sentences are killers of good speaking, and they will invite more grammatical errors. You can speak for 1 hour straight, no problem, but are your sentences short enough, or are they just way too overstretched? Correct. That is one thing we definitely do in the class. One thing which I take a lot of pride in. Third is making people speak on a variety of topics. Let's say someone is here for workplace communication. They come with an idea that it's all about feedback, it's all about peer to peer communication, it's all about hierarchical communication. Fine, we will do that and we do that. But I'll also ask you, if there's a zombie attack, how will you save the planet Earth? Correct? Because it is time for your creative hat to be worn as well. You cannot just stick to one kind of speaking. Speaking is an art that comes from your creative side. It is not a very logical thing. I mean, it doesn't come from the logical part of your brain. It comes from the creative part. The logical side adds the grammar part, and then you deliver it in a framework. But you have to talk about things that you're uncomfortable. Many times people say, I don't have much experience on it, I can't speak about it. No problem. Assume it, imagine it, be a more imaginative person in the class. Just 25 minutes, nothing's going to change after 25 minutes. So use that opportunity to be more creative, to be more imaginative. So this is what brings in the charm in the class. Then people get fired up, right? Then energy kicks in and sets in. And definitely there's a lot of presentation styles that we do work on. There's a lot of work we do when it comes to, office communication. Like, you're giving a feedback to your junior, how do you give that feedback? You are taking disciplinary action towards some against something that has happened in the office, how do you do that? A teammate is not collaborative, how do you make that person collaborative? What language do you use? People often tell, oh, I would do that. No, tell me exactly what is that sentence you'd speak. Tell me exactly what is that feedback you're giving. Give me the tonality at the same time. Act it out. Don't just tell me. Because ultimately, you have to go and do that in the real world. So why not do it here? You're paying your money to do that here. Just use the platform for it in your best interest. So these are some of the things which are really really helpful to the learners, I would say.
Mhm. Yes, and Raj asked a question that how long would it take for me to improve my English, or how many sessions do I need to take in order to be better at English? I think somewhere you answered this question in the similar family. It had a question. When you are in your session with a tutor will firstly diagnose you without checking at what stage you are. How would we tell you, okay, this much time would be needed for you? And secondly,
Yes,
every learner has, I feel, a different learning ability. Some learners are
correct.
really quick. You say them and they follow it blindly. But there are
True.
some hard nuts to crack. You have to firstly work on their confidence, as you
Yes,
mentioned, sentence structures.
right.
You never know whose basics are clear, otherwise you start from scratch with learners, right? So it depends
True.
upon you. Get yourself diagnosed with expert tutors here on the platform, and you can
Great.
do that
Agreed.
with a trial session at just
Yeah,
rupees
come over.
20.
I'm waiting. Yeah, come over. I'm waiting for you.
Yeah, so he would be there live teaching you and talking just to you. Currently, he's talking through this YouTube live session, but you can
Yes.
get a one on one session with him and then ask a question, whatsoever questions you may have. Learning Lighthouse, quite a fancy name, says how to book the trial. Well, we'll ask the support team to put the link in the chat box. It would be very easy. You can download the English Sharing app. Click on book a trial, select your tutor. Today, you have known tutor Mother for good 48 minutes. You've been listening to him, listening to the conversation, the background he come from. So you can also book a session with him, right?
Wonderful.
And just mention him that you have come here by watching the YouTube live session. Surely he would smile
Yes.
in the session what people complain about.
Right. Thank you for adding more smile, I would say, right in the beginning. Yes.
Amazing. So here I have a segment. I call this, before we wrap this session, this live talk
Sure.
show,
Sure.
everybody loves stories. We love to hear about someone, as you said, rags to riches, somebody who struggled to now the one who's able to achieve it. Why don't you share stories of your learners? You've taken more than, I think, 5,000 plus sessions on English, Shari, now. So, what's
I
your
have.
journey?
I've crossed 5,000. Yes.
Yeah, we achieved it. So, if you could share anecdote of your learners, how did they come to you? As a lot of them have self doubt. Will I be able to improve? Will I not? So, share their journey and how are they doing now? Maybe it would be a fun segment for me as well.
Right, right, right. I would start with one person who's just recently, who was there with me for almost 3 months, and he was preparing for cracking an interview. He had some work experience already. There was an interim when he was not working, and he was preparing himself for a better opportunity. And it's not that he was bad, but he wasn't great either when it comes to speaking up, speaking abilities. I'm not questioning his technical skills, but then definitely he was very punctual. I don't think he was ever late to class. This guy cracked Deloitte this month with an 18 lakh package.
Wow.
And then he came, and then he wasn't available for a couple of days, a week or so. And then he was, and one day he turned up and he said, I wasn't able to find your slots. Now I found your slot. And yes, I have cracked this, and this is such a great news. I was
Right.
so happy for him, right? Because ultimately, as a tutor, as a trainer, your greatest your greatest happiness is seeing these people thrive, because you see this journey. You've seen their journey from how low they felt at one point of time, and 3 months, 6 months down the line, they're a completely different person. I remember this guy. He was one of my demo sessions, and he came from a very underprivileged background. He had a roadside momos stall. He used to sell momos by the roadside, and he was there in my class, speaking, if not like a pro, but pretty much good English. And I said, how did you do it? He said that just by watching different people speak, but I'm now stuck at a level. Now I need your help and attention, right? Someone who can guide me beyond where I currently stand. Now, I don't remember if he went on to take up the subscription or not, but it is so heartening to see such people, right? I would have loved to be a part of his journey, but then never mind. At least I got an introduction to what kind of people exist around us, what kind of learners exist around us,
True.
right? There are so many, Shruti. There are so many people that have come back and told me, and I'm sure other tutors too, that I was not able to speak in my office. Now I can. I've heard this gazillion times. I cannot count the number of times. Very recently, someone said that I often did this, mirror practice, standing in front of the mirror and
Oh,
speaking. The old age mirror practice. And he says I couldn't even do that. But now, having taken a couple of sessions, right now, at least I can stand in front of the mirror and speak. So that flicker of confidence that comes to you, that small confidence that comes to you, can light up a whole forest fire. But that has to start. And I can't count the number of people who have given these kind of feedback. Of course, there will be. It is subject to how dedicated you are, how punctual you are, how
absolutely.
much you're putting that extra effort. I often tell them the 25 minutes that you get here are good enough to get you started, but not good enough to get you through. You have to put your effort. It cannot just be one thing that you do and then it's done. No, it doesn't work like that. Yeah.
You have to show up every day no matter what happens. You have
Yes,
to show up
absolutely, absolutely.
consistently, uh, throw yourself into the same situation, and after some time you'll know how to face the situation, because that time you'll be so used to the whole process that okay, now I know
Right.
it, how do I handle this up. It would not give you the same fear you had it initially when you faced it for the first
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So, and it's so
Really.
magical to hear about learners. We are literally privileged. We get people from different walks of life. You
Yes.
talk in one session. You're talking to a CEO of a company and to people who are working at white collar jobs, and then you, on the other hand, meet people who are doing different jobs. Yet they have a common desire, which is to be able to speak properly, to be able to
Yes.
express clearly as much as they can. And as I said, the
Right.
confidence cannot be, you know, taken from someone. You have to build it your way. You have
Right.
to put every rock by coming in the session with the tutor, because guidance always help. When we learned, and Mr. Madhavi would agree with me, when we started learning English, we had, of course, help from our tutors, but that help was not a constant help. Every new class, you'd have a new tutor, you would take your own time to build the conversation.
Yes.
But
Yes.
what constantly helped, we struggled. Of course, it was not a streamlined process, but when somebody is there with you who knows what it takes to be fluent, who's already fluent, would better be able to guide you. So that's what
True.
our expert tutors do on the platform. They're already fluent. They are certified English language trainers. They have done so much. As I was just saying, 5,000 sessions. My God, 5,000 times he has taught learners on the platform. And before as well, he has been teaching. So there's no doubt from whom you're going to learn here from. English from. Okay, I see some comments as well. Firstly, thank you for sharing these insights, because it's important you know that if you are not able to speak, it's okay. Even we were at the same position. We had nervousness, we didn't have confidence, or as I said, shaky legs. Believe me, I used to have butterflies in my stomach. Oh God, what would happen? What if I fumble or I mess up on the stage? Or maybe this live
True.
session, we're currently sitting at our home, of course, but so many people are watching us. I just received a message that I'm from Pakistan, love from Pakistan. See, you never know how you help people, right? So if you have any question, dear learners, this video would now go live on our YouTube channel as well. You can drop your question in the comment section. I'll forward it to you again so that you handle your learners, you take
Sure,
their doubts.
sure.
Recently, okay, learning lighthouses. Recently, I got a smart approach to learn English by seeing videos of Jack Ma, Virat Kohli. Absolutely, they are absolutely have good English. Okay, you're trying to say that you're watching some celebrities who are good
Correct.
at English. Okay, as you said, it's good, but is it enough? Is a question.
No. We have confused content consumption with learning, right? Because we are so used to scrolling these days. So if I go back to my childhood days, if I and I said that I'm watching a lot of television and English movies, that's why I'm learning. That's nonsense. Of course, to some extent, you'll get to hear a couple of words or some phrases, and then you may remember that. But how will that build your spoken abilities? Speaking is motor skills. This is physical activity. All your articulators come together with the help of your brain to create sound. It has to be done
True.
repeatedly at a physical level. It's like swimming. Watching swimming videos cannot make you a swimmer, right? Forget it.
Yeah.
If you're watching Jack Ma, if you're watching Virat Kohli, good. I don't have a problem with it. Learn from them, but be assured that you have to put in physical effort. You have to make real efforts in the speaking scenario. I mean, real speaking scenarios, which will build that muscle memory, which will build that real confidence. Right? So, content
Absolutely.
consumption is not equal to learning. It is helpful in the way of learning, but not equals to learning.
Okay, thank you for this detailed answer. I'm seeing a comment by a learner. Hello, Madhav sir. Devyansh Bhatia here. Hope you know me or hope you remember me. Again, your learners in the room. I'm
Hello,
sure you don't
Devansh.
forget your learners.
Good to have you here, right? And hope to see you soon in the class as well.
Absolutely. Don't forget the practice. Okay, this brings us to the end of this talk show where
Sure.
I think we touched upon so many things about your journey, the people believe, the mindset issues they have, and the right approach towards learning. In the middle, because of a question, we touched on tips and tricks related to interviews as well, which was definitely a bonus. I can currently see we have more than 100 plus people watching us. I
Wow.
request you all to like this session as well so that I can always bring tutors like Mr. Madhav on the platform and have discussion, surely detailed discussion, because just us telling you what to do, what not to do won't help. You should know your expert. You should know expert's journey. That's when you get motivated. If somebody said Virat Kohli, about you nowadays check Virat Kohli, you appreciate him because you also see his journey. You reflect on how did he start and where he's now. So it's more of the story of a person. And thank you so much for being that vulnerable, being so transparent in sharing your inputs today.
Thank you, Shruti. I give all the credit to you and the team in the back end for arranging this, for making it happen. It's lovely to, meet learners in a YouTube live because there's a certain level of charm and energy which is different from live sessions, right? And we also get to meet people, more people who are not a part of the live session. So it's
Absolutely.
another window into the world. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Thank you, all of you, from the bottom of our heart on this special day. You've joined us from different part of the country and listened to us for good 1 hour now. We are about to hit a mark of 1 hour within a minute. So thank you so much for the questions. I always say it's about one time I was talking to somebody and she said that I hope we'll be able to deliver a better session. I said it depends upon the kind of question learners ask. So you are the one
Yes.
who decides the flow of the session. We can always ask the question, but the quality of question has to be good and you have to be curious. So I can surely say all these learners were curious today, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, look at the buzz in the chat section. It's literally buzzing.
Yes, it's difficult to have an eye on. We
Yes.
see so many questions. A lot of love to all of you. And till then, I want you all to practice. Tutors, more than 100 plus expert tutors are available on English Shari app. Right at a click, get connected to them, talk to them anytime you wish to, because it's flexible, right from the morning till midnight. Anytime you want to have a practice session, you can do that for sure. Right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Mr.
Total
Madhav
freedom.
is going to open some more slots for all of you so that you can straight away go in the live session with him and get your
Anytime.
analysis.
Anytime. Everyone is most welcome. I would so I would so be grateful that you have taken a step for your own improvement. I'm just a catalyst. All of us are just catalysts. Me, Shruti, English, we're just catalysts. But it's you who is the real doer, right? So all the best
And
and
I'm
welcome you.
sure one day you will share their journey with us again on this platform that, hey, look at these learners. They saw us from live session and are able to speak now confidently.
True, agreed. Yeah.
Amazing. All the best, everybody. Till then, have a great Monday blues tomorrow.
Right, right.
we,
All of
we'll
us,
see
all
you
of us in
another.
the same boat. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
we'll
Thank
see you next Sunday live